You know, there's a prayer that billions of people recite every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Today, we're going to dive into Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening. It's the very first chapter of the Quran, and, you could argue, it's most important.
So that's the big question, right? How can a chapter with just 7 short verses hold so much weight? How can it be the cornerstone of the entire Quran? Well, let's break down its incredible structure and find out. Okay, so first things first, let's just get our bearings. We're talking about chapter number 1 out of 114, but it's more than just an introduction. Its name, Al-Fatiha, or the opener, really says it all. It's meant to unlock everything that comes after it.
The surah kicks off with an invocation. And this first line, man, it immediately sets a really powerful and specific tone for the whole prayer.
This is it, the very first verse. Before any praise, before any request, it starts right here, by invoking God's 2 most prominent attributes, mercy and grace. Think about that. This isn't some grand declaration of power, it's an appeal to compassion, right from the get-go.
And what's really fascinating is that in the original Arabic, the words for gracious and merciful, that's Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim, they both come from the exact same root word for mercy. So it creates this amazing nuance. One suggests this vast, all-encompassing mercy, while the other points to a more specific, continuous kind of mercy. It's incredibly layered.
So, after that opening invocation of mercy, the focus shifts. Now we move into praise, establishing exactly who is being addressed by highlighting 4 core attributes.
So here we have verses 2, 3, and 4, and you can see how they flow together. It starts with this big universal praise to the Lord of the worlds, then it doubles down on those attributes of mercy we just heard, and then it specifies a really unique kind of authority, Master of the Day of Judgment.
Each of these titles just packs so much meaning. Lord of the Worlds establishes universal dominion, right? The most gracious, the most merciful, drives home that central theme of compassion. And then Master of the Day of Judgment, that introduces the concept of ultimate accountability and divine justice.
Okay, now we've arrived at the absolute pivot point of this prayer. This is the heart of the surah. Everything, the tone, the perspective, the whole dynamic between the speaker and the divine, it all shifts in one single powerful verse.
Think about it. Up to this point, the prayer has been about God. It's been describing his qualities in the third person. But just watch what happens next.
And there it is, verse 5. Did you catch the shift? It's no longer he is, it is you. The prayer just turned into a direct personal conversation. This is the core covenant, a declaration of exclusive worship and a direct plea for help.
This comparison just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? The first half is basically a theological statement describing who God is. But the second half, starting with that verse, it's a personal plea, speaking directly to God. It's the bridge that takes you from acknowledgement to actual engagement.
So that covenant, that direct connection, it then builds to the final section of the surah, where the entire prayer leads to one single, profound request.
And these are the last 2 verses, the ultimate ask. After all that praise and that personal connection, it isn't for wealth or power or health, it's for guidance. But it doesn't just stop there. The prayer then goes on to define exactly what that guidance looks like.
This is so crucial. The straight path is not left as some vague, abstract idea. The prayer itself gives you a clear framework for understanding it, using both positive and, just as importantly, negative examples. And here's that definition, laid right out. It's a path defined by 3 reference points. First, follow the example of those who received God's favor. And second and third, actively avoid 2 other paths, the path of those who earn anger and the path of those who go astray. It's a really clear set of directions.
So let's zoom out and bring this all together. How does this tiny chapter manage to capture the essence of an entire scripture? Well, it's all in its perfect 3-act structure.
Just think about that flow for a second. First, you acknowledge and praise the one you're speaking to. Then, step 2, you establish a direct personal relationship, that covenant. And finally, step 3, based on that relationship, you make your single most important request, guidance.
This journey from praise to covenant to plea, it makes Al-Fatiha this incredible, universal template for supplication. It has all the essential parts of a meaningful conversation with the divine. It's so much more than just an opening chapter.
And really, that brings us right back to where we started. In just 7 verses, Al-Fatiha gives us a model for a complete relationship with God.
It's both the prayer in itself and a kind of table of contents for all the huge themes of mercy, justice, and guidance that fill the rest of the Quran. It truly is the opening, inviting you into a much, much larger conversation.